why they would have him as champion, because if they were going to do it, the perfect opportunity was when Roman had to leave, wasn't it? There was a space that opened up, and what WWE's response to that was just saying, well, we'll go back to Brock Lesnar then. I feel like if there was ever a chance to actually move on to something fresh, it was then, and then it wasn't the right time for them, obviously, so I don't see why WrestleMania would be. It would be kind of strange to me. Because the progress of Braun has been a long and slow kind of step-by-step process, and I don't feel like he's quite there just yet. I'm not sure whether he'll actually ever get there. He might end up being like the Big Show we think of. He might get a title run here and there, but they might be unremarkable when he does.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Just going to throw a few names out there. Of course, Elias, who... he's still got his fans, Elias, but I do think, again, they are not that interested at the moment with him. I think the guy's got talent. There was a wave of momentum there, but I don't see them pulling that one out now. What about Mustafa Ali, Matt? Because he's obviously been taken a lot more credible, and people were throwing out, it'll be Ali versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. But is that likely at the moment, Matt? I mean, he's sort of down on the pecking order. I mean, it's certainly a worthwhile dark horse if you did believe in it. But what about for you, Matt?
There probably was a time when people would say that, and he did get that win over Daniel Bryan, and I'm not quite sure what that was all about and how that came about. But I feel like that's pretty much dead in the water now, because the last few weeks all we've seen is Samoa Joe completely destroying him. Yeah, that's fair enough. And so lots of names in it. Of course, Dean Ambrose will be in. I'm sure, Matt, there'll be something with him and Seth. Wouldn't surprise me if they're down to the last ones. If it is going to be Seth, they use that, and I'm sure John Cena and Drew. I think there'll be. This is a time, Matt, where we sometimes see setups for WrestleMania during the match, don't we? So I've got a feeling Drew and John Cena might start that more after their dialogue that they had. I've got a feeling that could happen, and then John Cena goes away and does some filming, and then it's already sort of in place. I just got a feeling Drew. Hopefully, I mean, if Drew's not to win this one, Matt, I just hope he's in something good at WrestleMania for me. I really do, and be a great time to face John Cena, because John Cena's winding down, and to get a win over John Cena would be still an amazing feat. So that'd be cool. Matt, top two picks for you then. Seth Rollins, and I guess is one of them, but who's your second? Much like you, I think Seth is the one I think is going to win. Or do I want to win? It's going to be Drew. Because, it's like you said, I feel like they have an opportunity here to make someone through the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
The match could actually mean something again, could bring someone up to that next level. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be that Drew would challenge Brock. It could be that Drew would challenge AJ or Daniel Bryan, preferably AJ if it went that route, because it would look like it would be a heel kind of move, wouldn't it, to duck Brock, but to go for the title over someone he would see as an easier opponent. Yeah, well,
they've got options. If they go, for Brock, it kind of makes him almost like you don't make him full blown face, but it gives you that tinkle that's a little seed planted that actually he does want to face the top guy all of a sudden, and there's something about him, and then by WrestleMania you kind of get the whole thing and turn him babyface. But I just hope that if they do it, they wouldn't do it too soon. So far they've been good, but it would be good as well if he was like that heel and he could stay in that character and face, I don't know, AJ Styles. So there's lots of different ways around this that they can go here, but I do see him as one of the few sort of rising talents that WWE have got that they haven't yet used in that way. So there'll be my picks. Okay then, Matt. Well, I think we should take some of the questions to finish up our preview here. Then some of them have been coming through as we've been talking. So let's take some of them now. So. And we can get on with that. But for you, Matt, as far as the whole Royal Rumble itself, are you excited for the Royal Rumble this year, or it seems like it's come around really quick for me.
Yeah, I am actually. I mean, even though there is always an air to it where it's disappointing after it's been on, before it, I'm always optimistic and I'm always excited. It's that fun kind of gimmick about it. just the fact that if you suspend your disbelief, you could actually go into a fantasy world where anyone can win.
Yeah. We remember the ones before last year. We had about 3 on the trot, Matt, that were pretty bad, shall we say.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping we're out of that now. Okay, we've got the first question then. The legend, also known as Pete, has emailed us in. Good nickname there. He's telling us who he thinks is going to win. So he's gone for Seth Rollins to win and Brock to beat Finn under 3 minutes is his prediction. Well, that'd be a sad ending, wouldn't it? But there you go. Give me that beef and get him out of there. Done. All you see is Finn Balor off on a going backstage on a in an ambulance or something on a stretcher. That's the end of him. Career over. What about for you, Matt? Would it be 3 minutes?
Oh no, I really can't see 3 minutes. I think
Please,
they know
Matt.
the fans have a respect for Finn, and if they did that, I feel like the fans could really turn in a bad way.
Yeah, fair enough. Leah now says, what do you think of the chances of The Undertaker taking part in the Royal Rumble this year? I think slim, to be honest with you. I don't really know. It's just the first year where I'm kind of doubting. I mean, I don't know what they do with him at WrestleMania if he's around. I know we spoke about this last time on the podcast, but I really don't see him in the Royal Rumble. It would be. I would be surprised. It would be a nice surprise to see him, but I just don't see it. What about you, Matt?
No, I can't really see it. I don't really see what he would get out of that. There's a slim chance that he would be able to win it, and if he did, we don't want to see Brock versus Undertaker again. So I don't really see there being much scope for him to end the Royal Rumble. Yeah,
Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. 10 years later, and we've got it again. Imagine that. God dear. From WrestleMania 25.
Don't know what the plan would be for him for WrestleMania either, because he's pretty much beaten everyone. If you ever make a fantasy list of the people you wanted to see him fight, he's probably done it by now.
Yeah, a few people have actually mentioned that Finn Balor for that one as the Demon, but I mean, would WWE do that? I don't know. At this point, I mean, I keep talking about how small he is all the time, so. Right, anyway, DX1 now. My picks will be... Oh, for surprises, now he's gone for a few legends. He thinks Christian, Matt. He's gone Christian, Abyss, who I said earlier that they might... Christian, Abyss, and how about... Who's that? Oh, Finlay. Oh, that'd be interesting, but I don't know. And he's also gone Seth to win... And I'm going to call a wild card in the Women's Royal Rumble and go Bayley. That's interesting. What about for you there, Matt? Interesting points there. Christian?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure what his status is. I mean, he was retired. I thought it was maybe on medical grounds. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like he was done with that side of the business.
Yeah. Also, he's put in brackets, how about your favourite John, Booker T? Hope not. God dear. Don't think I can take that. But yeah, we'll see if any of the others come in. But Bayley's an interesting shout. I haven't really heard too many people pull for her at the moment. Got to be honest with you, but I don't know. You never know. Okay, Steve now. Hi, first time writing in. Big fan of your show. Super excited for this weekend, but not for the Royal Rumble. Actually, Takeover. However, do you think any NXT stars could enter the Rumble? If so, who would they be? Matt, anybody that springs to your mind? I think we spoke about Shayna Baszler being one of them. I would think, but I can't quote me on that. But you said also about Valentine Dream. I mean, is there anyone else, Matt, that could do it?
Oh, there's always a chance, isn't there? I mean, Adam Cole had a good showing last year, so he'd be another safe bet to come up because he definitely he's a professional and he doesn't really need to be down in NXT, so he's a perfect fit for the roster whenever he comes up anyway. So I'd say Adam Cole, Dream. If you're talking about the Women's Rumble, then of course Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, standouts.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, Blade 1 now has emailed in. Hi guys, a little bit off subject here, but Was thinking the other day about WWE and wrestling in general. Do you think that the current product, when you watch the whole entrances and how good they are and the production value, by the time the match comes on, sometimes you're taken out because the entrances are so amazing? But back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, we didn't have that, and the focus was only on the in-ring stuff. I say this because I recently went to some wrestling shows, and I kind of had that when I was sitting there. After I cheered them coming down, the audience seemed like they were zapped out of energy. What are your thoughts? Big question there. I mean, that's just come in as we were live. But I'm sure there is some sense to that in many ways. I mean, myself and Matt last year, we went to like the most shows we'd ever done in a year. And obviously, in fact, actually, most of them had really good production value, other than, say, like, you know, we went to a Ring of Honor show that was just boiling hot and all the rest of it. But I think there is probably something to that, Matt, in a lot of ways. There certainly is for me in WWE. I think that it is so much high quality. It's amazing production that they have, the WWE these days, and you take it for granted, but the amount of stuff, equipment that goes into this stuff is incredible. And you're right, you got the lighting, you got the music, you got the crazy entrance that they do, and people stand up, they get really excited, and then when the bell rings, Matt, sometimes like you are a bit like, oh, here we go again. I don't know. I think there is something to that, though. I think he's got a point, and maybe that is why wrestling's changed and people are a little bit different when they're watching the matches now. I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like you do have to have these kind of entrances though to create larger than life characters, and it's all part of their gimmick now, and it does wonders to actually enhance even the most like generic of wrestlers. They can come across really well just by some catchy music. I mean, we saw this, like, I'm not going to say generic because he isn't, but with Bobby Roode, when he came in, that
of course,
changed your persona, and the music made the man almost with that, and the fans really bought into it, so you can really change a guy just by changing the music. But when you look at the Saudi shows in particular, those things are on a whole nother level. I mean, WWE, they do have a way of making good entrances, but cutting back on the pyro does affect it. But when they go out there, there's like no expense spared.
There really isn't either. I think, I mean, the only thing I can kind of relate it to is, I'd say, go back in when I used to watch ECW back in the day. Of course, their production was, pretty bog standard, and everything was mainly, your focus was drawn to the in-ring stuff, because what Paul Heyman was really good at was disguising the weakness and playing to their strengths, and it did have me more pulled into the matches. Like, I felt like the matches were obviously more adult looking anyway compared to the WWF at the time and WCW, so I was always into it because it was more violent and stuff like that. But I guess there is some truth. I mean, I suppose when I go Ring of Honor, I'm more drawn to the in-ring stuff than I am when I go to some of the WWE shows in ring. But I think with the energy you talk about, sometimes I think Matt's right. I think it does get people over, but I think as a fan experience about being zapped out, I probably agree with you as well. I do think that does happen time to time with shows. But so it's a good point you raised there. So thank you for emailing in this evening for that. Sort of thrown us off there, but good point. Okay, Matt, it's number one here. He's back again. Jimbo, Wrestler Squad number 9. He's emailed in. This is his predictions, Matt, and we laughed last time he done one of these. So I'm not going to do that now because he was right about Daniel Bryan, and I didn't see it coming in being a heel. I've got to be totally honest with you. Especially after you'd seen him, Matt, at the SmackDown show, and you said how over he was still. So I really thought that wouldn't happen. But Jimbo says, I'm sticking with my predictions. Daniel Bryan drops the title back to AJ Styles. As I said before, this is just a ploy to keep Daniel Bryan away from the Rumble and stop fans from crapping over the whole thing. Seth Rollins wins the Royal Rumble and challenges AJ after winning. Charlotte wins the Rumble and will face Ronda only, he's put. Then you have storyline if Seth joining SmackDown and Charlotte joining Raw a couple of nights after. And then he's put in brackets, trust me boys. So there you go. What do you think to that, Matt? Has he Is he going to keep his streak up here? Are we going to have our jaws to the bottom and go